believe that? 2021. How time flies, right? I remember when I was a kid, um, in the 60s and 70s, there was a cartoon that I used to watch after school. It was called The Jetsons. And they used to fly around. Some of you, I'm sure, have watched it, fly around in flying saucers and had robots and all kinds of high tech things. I thought, when I was a kid, by the time 2020 comes around, that we'd be flying around in spaceships. I also remember as a kid in the 60s watching the Apollo moon landings and thinking, man, when I get old, we're going to be doing that every single day. We're going to be flying to the moon. We're going to be in outer space, but yeah, maybe next year, right? How was your guys' weekend? Mine was absolutely fantastic. Friday night, I was invited into Spokane to help out with an event with the End of Watch. The End of Watch Ride to Remember is a charitable organization based out of Spokane. And the founder, the chairman of this organization, End of Watch, has, I'm sure all of you know who he is, J.C. Shaw. He's become a brother to me. He was with me all the time on the campaign trail. Is an absolute salt of the earth man, and he's the chairman of the End of Watch organization. And tonight, he is with me. So welcome, JC, to the Common Sense with Chief Culp. How you doing, brother?
Good, Chief. Good. Thank you for bringing me on tonight.
Absolutely. I had a heck of a time in there Friday night. Do you know how many? Well, go ahead and tell everybody what we did Friday night, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So Friday night special is something that we thought about doing just recently. Uh, Beyond the Call of Duty is our charity, and End of Watch is a segment, and we wanted to give back to law enforcement. We already cater to survivors of law enforcement, and we wanted to really do something back on an everyday. So we contacted Spokane Police Department, talked to the chief and the captain, and got permission to do a Friday night special just to test it out and see if it was worth doing again. And we got a food truck set up. We asked you if you would please humbly attend. And we took our 2020 End of Watch trailer down, and we fed the part of the second watch and third watch, as well as communications, and took care of those officers that normally don't get to see humanity in daylight. So,
right, I know a little bit about that. Working night shift, graveyard shift, swing, whatever you want to call it. You don't run into a lot of just normal, good citizens. It's the dark of night, early wee hours of the morning, and you don't run into a lot, like you said, of normal humanity. So I know a lot of them showed up. Do you have any idea how many?
Yeah, we had slotted for 130 plates, and we well exceeded that. We cleared the 150 mark. In fact, just after you left, the food truck ran out of food completely.
Wow.
And then we had about 20 to 25 show up after the fact, and we apologized and told them we'd make it up. But yeah, the food truck completely ran out.
Well, this was just a showing of love, towards law enforcement, to the thin blue line, right? The people that protect us from the dark forces that travel around in the middle of the night and sometimes during the day, right? Just a way to show our gratitude to them for the service they do. And I know that, most people watching this are supporters of law enforcement. They back the blue. They don't want to defund the police like the radical far left does. But your organization, this isn't the first year that this has been going on, correct?
That's correct. We started last year, 2020. We lost 147 officers in 2019 across the nation. And so at the beginning of the year, actually a little bit prior to that, we had thought about starting We talked about creating a charity. Um, really wanted to take something around the nation to remind every department and every officer that their pain was not alone. They weren't alone in this pain, that the survivors were not alone. We wanted to take and remind the survivors that their loved ones were going to be remembered throughout the nation, that their loved ones were going to be remembered forever, not a momentary funeral or a 2-3 day funeral. We were going to continue and talk about their loved ones. At the same time, letting the officers and the fellow officers of that person know that their loss and their pain was felt across the nation. And so, yeah, we took off last year. June 1 was our debut, and went 44 states, 93 departments to honor 147.
Wow. And so you're visiting all the departments that have lost officers, visiting with their officers' family, their kids, their parents, their loved ones. And you have a picture of each one of those officers on the side of this trailer that is, by the way, escorted around the United States by motorcycle riders, right?
Yeah. So myself and 5 other riders opted to escort this trailer. Um, we had 2 trailer truck drivers, and we would just we rode, and that's where the ride came in. Is we are actually riding for all 147 in 2019. This year we'll be riding for 328, and so we're actually riding our bikes, feeling not only the pain of the ride, but also the joy of the ride. We're allowing the survivors to realize that, and talking with them about what experiences we've had at every single stop, what experiences they're going to feel from us for their loved one. Because by the time we get to the first stop or the second or even the last stop, we are talking about each and every officer that died in the line of duty. We are talking about their lives. We're talking about their families. We're talking about them as human beings. We're talking about them as officers. And the goal is, we have, as society, we have just forgotten everything's a badge, everything's a number. Number 1, 2, 3 died, and that's it. Well, unfortunately, these are not just numbers. Just like you said, Chief, these are brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, and grandparents of people. So, and that's our ultimate goal.
So in 2019, there was less than 200 officers lost their life in the line of duty, but in 2020, there were over 300, correct?
That's correct. We're at 328. We are going to go to over 200 departments this year, representing the 328. And last year we covered 18,300 miles. This year it's looking like we're going to cover a little over 25,000 miles.
Wow. That's incredible what you're doing. It's sad that, so many people in politics and the news media don't put high regard on police officers' lives. You don't hear about this all the time. Less than 200 in 2019, and now well over 300 in 2020. These are people. These are, like I said, brothers and sisters, moms and dads. It's very tragic that this is becoming the norm. And this year, from what I've read, is not turning out to be any better.
No, Friday we were at 44 for this year alone. I haven't checked the numbers yesterday or today, but I mean, 44 deaths, and we're only 2 months into the year.
Right.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's sad. Yeah. I went on the first leg of your journey around the United States last year for the Memorial for 2019 officers. And it's incredible, to be following that trailer with all those faces and names on it and seeing people's reactions. I remember looking at the pictures from your journey all across the United States on your Facebook page and seeing the family, seeing the little boy, who couldn't have been 3 or 4 years old, 5 years old maybe, standing there looking at the side of the trailer and pointing up at his dad's face on the side of that trailer. It was heartbreaking. How
Yeah.
do you deal with that? Going from one department to the next. I'm sure it's got to be an emotional roller coaster, right?
Yeah, well, it absolutely is. A lot of tears were shed on the trip. You know, we thought when we started that we understood. We thought that it would be easy, but each one is a person. Each one is a husband, wife, like we said, father, and we had a number of officers that didn't get to see their children born. There was a couple of officers that we responded and had never even seen their child born. The child was born after they were gone, and it's just heartbreaking.
Wow. Yeah, that it's got to feel good though. I mean, for the families, I can imagine. If I had a loved one that lost their life in the line of duty, and a motorcycle escort pulls into my town with a trailer with all the officers on there, including my loved one, it would really touch my heart. And I can imagine that happened every time.
Oh, it was. Just in Washington State alone, Cowicz County, we lost Justin and the Deloja family, and having gotten called by his father the night before we were going to honor him, and asking if he could ride with us, and it was just an honor having his father ride on the deputy's motorcycle to honor him, and that was just absolutely amazing.
Wow. All right. Well, if you could stick around, we're going to continue this right after my commercial from a brand new sponsor.
Awesome.
We'll be right back after this message.
I'm untouchable.
Would you have a message for Lauren Culp?
Who's Lauren Culp?
Who's Lauren Culp?
Who is Lauren Culp?
Who's Lauren Culp?
Hi, I'm Christopher Gergen, Senior Advisor to the Culp organization. I spent over a year on the road campaigning with the American Cop, and from those experiences, I thought I really knew Lauren Culp. But then, I read Lauren's new book, and holy there's so much more to this guy than I could have ever imagined. His new book, An Insubordinate Life, pulls back the curtain and reveals the real-life experiences that shaped the conservative warrior many of you got to know on the campaign trail. The follow-up book to his #1 bestseller, American Cop, hits the market in May 2021, but you can get on the pre-sale list now to get a signed copy of the book before everyone else. To get your copy of An Insubordinate Life, visit chiefculp.com. And while you're there, check out all of Lauren's patriotic gear designed specifically for patriots like you. So what are you waiting for? Head over to chiefculp.com to get your copy of An Insubordinate Life today.
All right, you guys, welcome back to Common Sense with Chief Culp and my guest, J.C. Shaw, the founder of Ride to Remember and the End of Watch. And we've been talking about honoring police officers, but I'd like to shift gears a little bit, JC. Everybody just watched that commercial, and I've got a new book coming out in the spring. Pre-sales are going on right now. And the reason I wrote this book is, well, first of all, I'm just turned 60 years old, right? So I've done my fair share of living on this earth for 60 years. There's lots of lessons in my life, hardships, good times, bad times, tragic times that I talk about in that book. But the biggest message, is not, oh, look at me, I'm great. It's that anybody can do anything that they set their mind to. It doesn't matter where we're born, when we're born, how we're born, what kind of family we have, what kind of tragedies we're born into or we deal with or that come along in life. I want everybody to know that it doesn't matter. What matters is right now, right here today, what you decide that you want to do and what you strive to do. And with that, I know you pretty well. And I've grown to love you as a brother.
Same
But
here.
your life story, I think that you should write a book. Actually, you should have a book because your story is very, very inspiring. You know, you weren't born into a rich family in America. Um, can you tell everybody a little bit about your history?
Yeah, it's I was born in Uganda during a time where we had a dictator ruler. His name was Idi Amin, and that was my brother and I were born, and my parents lived there, and we were given 72 hours to leave the country, otherwise we would be butchered. We my dad was out of town, and so my mother gathered the belongings that she could and grabbed both of us, and we fled. We left the country with nothing. My father lost his businesses in Uganda, lost a house in Uganda, and we were granted asylum in Kenya. From there, people talk often, over here we go to the mattress store and we get a mattress to sleep on a bed. You can get help getting a mattress. So in Kenya, there is no government help. You don't have welfare system. You don't have government assistance. If you don't have money to go to pay at the hospital, you don't get seen, and that's all over Africa. If you don't have money to feed yourself, there is no food banks. You just go hungry. My brother and I, we grew up with secondhand clothes. We grew up sleeping. The fame in our life was our mother was able to provide our mattresses that we slept on, but we watched our mom stitch the mattresses, and she would get remnants of clothing that she would buy, remnants of pieces of clothing that you would go down to the local market and buy a bag of it. And so I luckily had a 7-layer bed. My brother had a 5-layer bed. And those are things that we just grew up with. So moving to America, America is an absolute amazing country. It is amazing. If people could just stop and look around and appreciate, maybe take a trip to a third world country. I'm not talking Mexico. I'm talking a third world country. And Mexico is a third world country, but it's become a tourist hub, and people tend to forget how people live over there. But if somebody could just take us a breather and realize that we live in this beautiful country. It took us 7 years to get our green card. We were granted our green card status. It wasn't given to us in a lottery. We waited patiently, and then I've worked ever since. I've never been on government assistance. I've never been on welfare. I've always had 2 or 3 jobs, and what I have has been earned. But I look at it's all ours. It's us for us to be able to give to others as well. I'm blessed. I'm very, very blessed. My brother is very blessed. We take care of our mom, and we try and give back as much as we can in any shape or form, whether it's monetary or emotional support or whatever we put our heads to. And I just wish the rest of the world could just stop with this needs to be given to us. It's work. You can earn it. You can work it. You can do it. And it's everywhere. I see so many good people, especially when I was with you. I saw so many good people that were hardworking, that were not asking for handouts. They just needed help getting and being heard, and somebody listening to their voice. And that's what is America's given you that beauty and allowed you to have that beauty to do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you started a business when you got to America, not too long ago. and built that up from nothing. And now you have around, what, 900 employees?
Yeah, a little over 900.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it seems, people who have immigrated to this country seem to appreciate it a whole lot more than, than those of us that were born here. There's a lot of things we take for granted being born here, but there's nothing that anybody cannot overcome, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, there is nothing. You put your mind to it. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. There is no boundaries on the color of your skin, or we were suppressed and oppressed because of the color of our skin. I wasn't. I was given an opportunity. I took it. And my skin color hasn't stopped me. And that's where I go back to is if you can just put your mind to what you want to do, you'll do it and get it done.
And lose the victim mentality and the entitlement mentality that so many people have gotten. Not most of the people that are watching this show right now. I'm sure there's a few of the news media that may fall into that category. Maybe some spectators just seeing what I'm going to say or who I'm going to have on my show. But for the most part, all of my supporters, people that follow me on the campaign or since I wrote American Cop, they're people that know that they want to work. They just want government to get the heck out of their way and let them do what they want to do. And that's what's great about America. If we can just keep our government under control, right, and quit marching down this road towards socialism, where the government has to fix everything, the government has to be involved in everything, then we'd be a whole lot better off, don't you think?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, if you look at the countries I've come from, where governments control everything from the price of the milk that you're going to drink or the price of dairy that you're going to buy, it's all government controlled. How you're going to go to school, what are you going to learn in school? It's government controlled. And I go back to, where is the freedom of allowing the person or the individual to be an entrepreneur in any business or any thought process? There's no government help on that. It's government controlled. So,
right, yeah, we need more individual freedom and liberty. I've heard that someplace before.
Yeah, right, right, exactly.
So, and we need everybody involved, right? That's one of the reasons I wrote that book, just to show everybody that it doesn't matter where you come from, what kind of a diversity you've had in your life, you can overcome anything and help to change. We need people involved. We need people at every level in our elections, running for local offices. I've said it many times and I'll say it again, that I do not believe that a real conservative is going to win a statewide race in Washington state until we go back to in-person voting and hand counting at the precinct level. And until that happens, we're not going to get a real conservative into any statewide office. But the county commissioners, this city council, mayors, state senators, state legislators, those we can affect. And we're going to be working on that very hard coming up this summer, but we need everybody involved. We need people getting active. So,
yeah, and I think, again, you're hitting the nail on the head, Chief, where the concept of my voice doesn't count or my voice is not counting should not be something that the individual looks at and says, well, why should I vote or why should I step up? Because every vote, every person is counted if you do it correctly. Obviously, if you're out there causing riot and mayhem and all of this, that is not a method to talk about a view that you should want heard. That right there is you're ruining people's lives. You're ruining people's property. You're stealing. You're looting. Versus a very collective group that wants their voice heard, and everyone should go out. Everyone should gather and place their voice on the ballots and make it count. If you want the changes, make them happen, but do it peacefully.
Yep. So getting back to your charity, the End of Watch and the Ride to Remember, how do people get in touch? You're on social media and on the web, correct?
That is correct. Our webpage is endofwatchride.com. And then our Facebook is EOW Ride Facebook. And we just tweaked. We just got a new platform going on our webpage. We're going to have sections in there that they can sign up, even if they want to just volunteer or help us out in attending whatever we're doing or showing up. I think more so if we can just get people to show up when we're doing these gatherings and give love back to the Blue. Give love. Just shake their hands, thank them, let them know they are loved. Let them know that they are, they're the shepherds that take care of our flock. They don't ask for weekends off. They don't ask not to work nights. They give up their holidays and their anniversaries. So let's give a little bit of love back. We do have a great web page. So please, whatever you purchase, that gets that money actually set aside for survivors, and that's what we're giving to survivors. Last year, we were able to give a lot of checks to the survivors, and we've got some other things planned this year for last year's survivors that we're going to be doing differently, especially some day camps and week-long camps for the kids. So yeah, that money goes directly to them. We're always looking for sponsors. So.
Yeah, you have some local businesses sponsoring, right?
Yeah. We
let everybody know who they are, so we can make sure that we let them know we appreciate it.
Absolutely. So last year we only had 2 sponsors. Obviously, Phoenix Protective Corporation, based out of Spokane. They were our diamond sponsor. They really picked up where everyone else dropped off and picked the tab up for the whole ride. But we have Yolks Fresh Foods, based out of Spokane. They gave us a sponsorship last year, and they did the same thing this year. So we appreciate them. So if you're in Spokane area or Tri-Cities, visit their stores, thank the managers, tell them that you support Beyond the Call of Duty. We have a local jewelry design center called JDC, Jewelry Design Center, again out of Spokane, that sponsored us this year. They make custom work, custom artwork, custom rings, but if nothing else, just stop in and say hi to them. We have Simpson helmets. We have Wheelin lights. It's actually out of Auburn, the company, and they sponsored our lights for this year's ride for the bikes. Obviously, Lone Wolf Harley, they're again donating another bike for the ride to be given away to one of the honorary departments. They did the same thing last year, so please thank them, based out of Spokane. We still got Josh Harris on the hook. He's trying to get us some whiskey so we can do the midnight talk show that we're going to be doing every night.
And Josh Harris is the captain of
Cornelia Marie, Deadliest Catch.
Yes. The Deadliest Catch show, yes.
Yep. So we'll try and get him on it again. So we've got Jason Gray with New America Funding, based out of Renton, I believe it is. Phenomenal sponsor this year. Gave us a large check. So please reach out if you need a refi or if you just need to get a loan. Reach out to Jason Gray out of New America Funding. So yeah, those are a few of our sponsors, and we're always looking for more.
That's awesome. That is very good. So you guys, if you know where these businesses are or don't, you can check on JC's website and find out where they are. Make sure that you frequent their businesses and thank them for what they're doing for law enforcement to back the Blue all across the United States. And JC, I never told you this ahead of time, but for the first 500 books of An Insubordinate Life that sell, I'm going to give $5 each to your organization.
Thank you.
To help out.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much. So
I'm really looking forward to, and the ride kicks off when? It's the end of.
So June 1 is when we're going to kick off, but we are going to do a large, just basically kick off on May 29th. It's a Saturday at Lone Wolf Harley.
Okay. And do you have schedule in front of you?
No, I don't have the schedule. We're not quite done with the schedule. Yeah, we are waiting until we've given every department until March 5th to get back to us if they're going to allow us to come or not. So right now we have 190 departments that have already said yes. We will have the actual route on the web page hopefully by March 15th with every stop.
Okay, and I'm going to ride with you on a Harley Davidson for as much as I possibly can.
Yep, we have your Harley. It's the Softail that you rode last year. It's the 2020 Softail. It's ready for you, and you just have to get on it now.
I've been riding motorbikes since I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I cursed the day that I sold my last Harley Davidson, but I'll get another one soon.
Totally.
Anyway, JC, I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on here and letting everybody know
about
your organization. And make sure you guys go to his Facebook page and like and share. And go to chiefculp.com too.
All right.
We'll catch you guys next time, JC. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
See you soon. Good night, everybody.
I'm untouchable.